Wants in on this, then get him here so we can do this.
We want to start off with
I do have a question I'd like to ask.
Excuse me 1 second. We want to start with democracy.
Hi, can you tell us why you came out here today? What does the Occupy movement represent to you?
Well, I've been a supporter of Occupy Wall Street almost since its inception. I played here in the first 2 weeks of when I was at Zuccotti Park, came back for the May Day resurgence, and whenever Occupy rears its head, I will be there to support.
What's the future of the movement today on the 1-year anniversary? Where is it going?
Yeah, well, I mean, clearly when the physical occupations were removed by the forces of repression, it changed the dynamic. Now, all those people were not removed, and they still exist, and they still have the same kind of feel just as disenfranchised by the present system, and feel that there needs to be some radical change to stop it. I think it's up for us to come up with new strategies, new strategies of action to empower those who felt that first spark, that first radical spark. Because the thing that's, I think, was new and exciting for me as someone who's been an activist for 20 years, who was different about the Occupy movement, was it was a brand new generation of people who had never been involved in any sort of protest or even charity work, because the corporate malfeasance that caused the global economy to collapse has affected everyone. Much like in the days of the Vietnam War era, where every young person could have been drafted to go die. Now everyone is looking at a bleaker economic future, and so this is something that speaks to every household. That's why I think we saw such a strong response to it. Why Occupy captured the zeitgeist back in last fall. Those feelings of resentment about the grotesque economic inequality still exist, and it's up for us to come up with new strategies to give them voice.
What are the issues most important to you?
I mean, the issue that we're here to discuss today is, and one thing where Occupy has been, I think, tremendously successful, is highlighting the grotesque economic inequality that exists in our country and around the world. The dirty 5-letter word class that was considered unutterable until the Occupy movement is now on everyone's lips. When, in memory, as a Republican presidential candidate, had their feet held to the fire because they're too rich, that's because of Occupy. That's because a bright light has been shined on this grotesque economic inequality that's on a global basis. And I'll tell you, I feel very blessed that I'm able to be a musician and to speak my mind on politics. That's what I feel I was born to do. Perhaps you as a journalist feel the same way. There are literally billions of people on the planet that are denied to become the people they were meant to be because of crushing poverty. How many Mozarts or cancer doctors are struggling in the maquiladoras along the Mexican border, or people who just don't have enough clean water to raise their children that could be making tremendous contributions to humanity. That's one of the that's one of the opportunity costs of this grotesque economic inequality and poverty. This poverty is not something that happens. Poverty is a crime, and they're criminals, and a lot of them work around here.
As an experienced activist, what's some advice that you can give to the youth that are being awakened for the first time, getting engaged for the first time because of Occupy, so that we don't keep relearning the same lessons? What are the pitfalls?
Well, I mean, I tell you, one of the things that has been for me has been so inspiring about Occupy is that it's self-generated in a way, and it's not sort of waiting for the wisdom of elders. It has taught me a lot of things, and that's simply by walking out your front door, you can get your hands on the wheel of history, and that's what the Occupy movement has done. I think that at least has been a big success. I was the scheduling secretary for United States Senator Alan Cranston for 2 years. So I worked in the belly of the beast for one of the most progressive senators to ever grace the Capitol. And he spent all of his time asking rich guys for money. And he was well to the left of President Obama. Okay? So I've always put my energies as an activist and a musician into movements that are from the bottom up, not from the top down. I'm not waiting for some trickle down theory or some drizzle down theory for someone to wave a magic wand and to make the world white. When there has been progressive, radical, or even revolutionary change, it has always been generated from the bottom.
How can we make the bridge between activism, which are people that care about issues, to middle America?
At the height of the physical occupations, over 2,500 cities, towns, hamlets, and burgs that had physical occupations in them, and a lot of those were in the middle of America. A lot of those were in far-flung places where people felt a commonality and a solidarity with people around the globe who just had enough. it's like people, try to well, what's Occupy's message? The message was very, very clear to me, and the message was summed up very succinctly. We are the 99%. We are the ones that are excluded from power. It's like the 1%, the ruling class, have their hands exclusively on the wheels of history. And for a moment in time, just by merely standing on a street corner with your brothers and sisters going, this shit isn't right. This just isn't right. I think that has been something that's very encouraging. Like I said, we have to turn that disgust with the present state of affairs into positive action to change it. But if you see the energy that's in the state, on the stage and in the streets today. Hopefully that can carry on through the weekend and in the coming months ahead. We have to continue to stand in solidarity with people, not just in the United States. The Occupy movement is a global movement. People who are standing against this economic inequality, it's on a global scale. From Spain to Greece, from Quebec to Chile, there are workers and students and people like you, journalists and musicians who are standing up globally. And the one thing in my travels that I've learned is that those people on the far-flung corners of the globe have your back. They have Occupy Wall Street's back, and I know that we have theirs as well.